Hi, Chris Kirk here at Wild Blue with a video tip about what you can and cannot consider an aircraft engine overhaul. We get a lot of questions from people who their engines are in various stages of life. Sometimes it's a new engine, sometimes it's a factory reman, sometimes they've had a top overhaul, sometimes they've had some work done to the engine that was quite expensive and they're led to believe that it was an overhaul when in fact it wasn't. So a couple things to keep in mind for you as the aircraft owner when you get ready to sell your airplane. Back up a little bit and make sure that you ask a lot of questions. You've heard me say this before. There are so many assumptions that can be made and so many assumptions that are wrong about what's being done to your engine and how it's going to impact the value. So make sure you have a very clear understanding of what is being done and whether or not it's actually going to help you in the end when it comes time to sell the airplane. You also know that I'm a big believer in not paying for the inspection until I have a chance to proofread the annual log entries or whatever log entries there are. And I do that for one specific reason, and that's because I want to make sure that they're accurate, number one, and number two, that there's something that's, if I was told it was going to be done, it was done, and if it wasn't done, I want to know that. But also, if any hair-raising or eyebrow-raising terminology is put in there unnecessarily, then I want to have it removed before I pay for it. So that being said, here's a couple of things to think about. Number one, a top overhaul does not add any value to your engine. You've heard me say that before. What it will do is it will help you, the aircraft owner, get to a point where you either want to sell the airplane or you want to do an engine overhaul. But a top overhaul is not a complete engine overhaul, and generally speaking, it's going to extend the life of your engine, probably just to TBO if that, but it is not going to give you any residual value as an overhauled engine. The second thing to keep in mind is that sometimes there are things that are done to an engine that are quite extensive and may even be portrayed as an overhaul. But here's the key. Unless it is written up in the logbook that the engine was overhauled, whether it's to field specifications, whether it's to factory new limits, whatever the case may be, if it doesn't say the engine was overhauled, then value speaking, you can't advertise it or consider it to be an overhauled engine. I had a prospect, this has been several months ago, really nice gentleman. They had spent a lot of money on an airplane and an engine, and he told me, he goes, well, we're considering it an overhaul. And I said, well, send me the logs and let's take a look. Well, there was no record of the engine being overhauled. He goes, well, but we spent a lot of money and we're considering an overhaul. And I had to very nicely and gently tell him, sir, you can consider whatever you want, but the next buyer or the next person is not going to give you any credit for that. So if you think the engine is going to be overhauled, then make sure that in fact it is. Sometimes people will spend an amount that is so close to an overhaul, but yet it does not meet those criteria that I often kind of scratch my head and wonder, why didn't you just pay the extra little amount and have it overhauled? So anyway, that's kind of the gist of this video tip. Just make sure that you understand what you're getting for your money and understand that unless the word overhaul is written in there, it cannot be considered an engine overhaul. Hope that helps. Give us a call anytime. Chris, Mac, or Todd, 888-773-4249, or you can check us out at flywildblue.com.